Hello everyone and welcome back. We have a few little updates to look at in today's PTU. There have been some further adjustments to the pricing that you can sell RMC and construction materials for. So we're going to take a little bit of a look at that at Area 18. They've also added the Nova ballistic Gatling turret and the RSI Scorpius missile turret to the in-game weapon shops. So we'll take a look at that as well and see the prices on that. And then we also have a slight adjustment to the Aegis Reclaimer's kind of rear elevator sort of thing. It's able to come down a little bit further, and supposedly there's a cargo grid on it now. So we'll take a brief look at that. And then lastly, there has been a big chunk of mission objectives and information found for an upcoming event in the Nix system that I think gives us a pretty good indication. CIG's trying to get it out pretty soon. So we're going to go over all the information for that and the PTU updates. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first, I'll briefly touch on some more salvage updates. So they say under gameplay in the patch notes, salvage refining and economy adjustments. RMC and construction materials repriced. RMC sale prices reduced. Construction material refinery yields have decreased while increasing the sale prices. So figured I'd come and check at the TDD here at Area 18. I believe you can sell RMC and construction materials here. So we can see if it'll tell us the sell prices now after it loads everything in. Let's see here. All right, so for example, here we have construction materials. Looks like Area 18 in particular is taking it for about 8,000 per SCU. I don't know how that relates to live. I'm pretty sure I haven't done salvage for a little bit on live, but I want to say that construction material is around 2.5 or 3,000. I want to say. I might be wrong there. If you're more familiar with the current prices for that, make sure to let me know down in the comments. But we're looking at about 8,000 per SCU, at least at Area 18. So one of the major TDD locations you can trade at. So I think that's definitely an increase for that price for that material. And then let me see if I can find RMC as well. Okay, here is RMC, recycled material composite. Looks like Area 18 is taking it for 4.25k per SCU. I'm pretty sure RMC on live is, I think it's around 10 to 12k, if I remember correctly. So that has definitely taken a pretty significant hit. I know that, I think there was a bug or something early in, I want to say 4.3, that the RMC prices have been reduced to like 2k or something, and they fixed that. But now it seems like they are going to reduce it again. So I'd say if you're someone that uses like the Fortune or the Vulture quite a bit and you mostly do RMC salvage, that's not going to be as profitable as the construction material. So yeah, we'll have to see if they make any more adjustments to it. I don't know entirely why they decided to bring it down that much or bring construction material up from what they had it at, but those are the changes that I can see for those materials. So if you have any thoughts on that, make sure to let me know what you think down in the comments. Okay, so now we'll check in the center mass here and see. Well, I guess we can look real quick here. We have our Bulldog repeater, Panther repeater, and the Badger. Badger still looks the same as far as I can tell. Doesn't really look any different to me. If it does to you, make sure to let me know. But yeah, it looks like the Badgers have not changed still, so maybe they're not changing the Badgers. They're leaving those as is. They just added some further variations, just the Bulldog and the Panther with this extra kind of shrouding or whatever you call it around it. So we'll see. Maybe they just haven't got it in yet. But let's check in the terminal here and see if we can find the what's it called? The Gatling gun for the Nova tank. And vehicle weapons. What is it called? The NV57? Yeah, there we go. So NV57 ballistic Gatling. This is specifically for the Nova tank. It's kind of like a bigger, beefier version of the TMSB or whatever it's called. That specific kind of Gatling gun on the Heartseeker missile or the turret. So it's just a single size 5. It is pretty powerful. 121k. And then let's look for the Scorpius. What is it called? The Lesath, I think. Yeah. RSI Lisath missile turret. That gives you an additional 16 size 2 missiles, and you can control them from the pilot seat. So if you have a Scorpius, but you traditionally fly it solo, you could change the turret out for this, and then you get, considerable amount more missiles, and you also get some weapon capacitor back from what the turret guns would normally be using. So that's only 45k, so that's pretty cheap. So yeah, looks like those have been added into the game, which I'm glad to see, because they had been just part of their little packages that were around Invictus. So added those in. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if we see some additional weapon packages. I'm thinking maybe like a laser gun package for the Wolf, and maybe something for the Perseus. It's possible. Maybe for some other random ships here and there as well. So that is the addition of those guns and that turret to the to the weapon shop. So now we're going to go do a little bit of testing on these changes for the Aegis Reclaimer. You're going to see me in the back trying to see if I can get some cargo to go on the main elevator that it has, because in the patch notes they say for the Aegis Reclaimer they added a cargo grid to the lift, fixed the animation length, which that's for the elevator in the very back of the ship, not really like the hatch that'll open up. They also fixed the animation that'll make the lift go further down, which you'll see in a minute here. And they also moved the interaction point to be reachable by the player when cargo is loaded on the lift. So again, I tried a box there on my friend's Reclaimer on the normal elevator, and it didn't seem to have a grid or anything. So then in a moment here, I'll show trying the same thing with this little lift that can go down from the back. So you can see here, the lift, you do have an interaction back there now. I think before you had to press the open all button from the pilot seat. And it does go down quite a ways, so it'll be easier to at least throw boxes down out of the ship, because I know that that's typically what people use this for. But I think it was a lot tougher because the hatch barely opened before. So with the extra length, it'll go down. That'll help quite a bit. So that's a bit of a look at that. And then let me skip forward to where I was grabbing some containers and seeing if they fit on the elevator here, if they actually have a cargo grid they snap to. So here's the 16 SCU box. At least this way you see it does not fit. I think I tried reorienting it another way. Oh wait, no. That's where the elevator went up for some reason. We had to quickly send it back down. But I'm pretty sure the 16 SCU box did not snap. You can see here, putting it sideways, there doesn't seem to be any pop-up grid or anything. And then I did also try a 8 SCU and a 4 SCU box, so I'll cut now to trying those out. So here we're bringing the 8 SCU box up. Doesn't seem to want to snap anywhere on this lift as well. So I don't know if something didn't quite make it in right for the lift that's supposed to be there, or for the cargo grid that's supposed to be on there. But at least from what I can tell, it wouldn't snap anything on. I tried the 4 SCU box as well here, and as you'll see in a second, it just won't snap. So that might just be something that is listed in the patch notes but hasn't made it in quite yet. But I will say overall it's a nice change that the lift goes down a little bit further, so you're able to get stuff out easier in the first place. So we'll have to see if there's any further updates they make for the Reclaimer, so you can get the stuff out that you need to be able to refine. So if there's any further updates, I'll keep you up to date on that. So now let's talk about the big, juicy Datamined stuff that was part of this patch. Now this is going to be some spoilery stuff, so if you don't want to hear that, that's your spoiler warning. But this is some new Dataminds that are coming out of this most recent patch for information related to apparently a dynamic event that'll be coming in Nyx. So we'll go over that here. So this is called the Nyx TSG dynamic event, and there's a bunch of different phases and missions to go with it. Now I don't know what TSG stands for. It doesn't seem to be spelled out anywhere specifically, so if you have any guesses as to what that could mean, make sure to leave those down in the comments below. But they say here, the first Nyx dynamic event, just like the previous Pyro Gang related events, goes on through multiple phases, 6 right now, and involves multiple factions, good guys, People's Alliance intersect defense solutions versus bad guys, the Shattered Blade and the Vanduuls. And then they list out the 6 currently known phases of this mission. Phase 1 is space combat, defeat attacking fighters that could be both human and Vanduul alike. Phase 2 is space and FPS combat for Assault Station. This does lean into some of the voice lines that have been uncovered from data mining as well, have hinted at this, some different like objectives as part of the phase for assaulting the station. And then phase 3, space combat is intercept bombers. I don't know if that's, like a retaliator or something, or it might be Vanduul bombers. Phase 4 is space and FPS combat, which is destroy power core. So some large structure, maybe it's sort of like the ASD engineering wing power core that you have to, probably punch through a bunch of defenses and go blow that up. Phase 5 is space combat of save the pilot. And then phase 6 is space combat save the pilot again, but if the pilot dies, the mission fails. Then they also list a few other miscellaneous, like different mission objectives that can happen. There's recovering cargo, resource gathering, ambush over search lieutenant. Not entirely sure what that one means. Sync with Moby encrypted data found, Vanduul eliminated intro, item collected encryption key, item collected all data, item collected collect data packet, and locked asteroid base. So whole lots of different objectives and phases for what appears to be the first dynamic event that we'll have going into Nyx, which I think would be a great, if it ends up coming in like this and we're fighting both the Shattered Blade and the Vanduul, it's going to be a pretty big an exciting way to introduce the Nyx system, as well as a lot of these new factions. An exciting way to introduce fighting Vanduul in the PU, which I think a lot of us expected, at least I expected, it wasn't going to happen until Squadron came out that we would see that. But it seems like CIG wants to push that a lot sooner. Maybe it's partially because they want to get a little bit of feedback from players fighting the Vanduul of maybe some, little balancing changes they want to make for the Vanduul and Squadron. So we'll have to see, but definitely some pretty exciting stuff, especially the combining of the space combat and FPS combat objectives and all of the, I'm sure, sub-objectives that go into those different phases of that mission. Sounds like there's going to be quite a bit of fun stuff to do, especially with some of the new ships we'll be getting very soon, like the Paladin and the Perseus. I think we'll be able to get some good usage out of them for this this dynamic event. But that's the big data mine thing to come out of the recent patch. Still a lot of stuff that needs to be added in for this patch to go live. We still need the creature that we're supposed to be getting. There's the new armor's not in quite yet. I don't think the binoculars that were shown are in. The AI FPS turrets aren't in yet. So we'll have to see. I think with the roadmap update we're supposed to be getting tomorrow, which I will be covering, that'll probably give us a bit better indication of what else will be coming into the patch. They'll probably add some additional cards and that might coincide with hopefully some more additions for those things in the PTU. So we'll have to see what happens. I don't entirely think we'll see the patch go live by this weekend because they haven't got everything in and they probably need to test it, get some bugs worked out. So we'll see what ends up happening, but that's going to do it for going over the latest news and updates. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like as it really helps the channel. And if you want to see more Star Citizen news videos like this and for stuff upcoming with CitizenCon, new ships, all that sort of good stuff, make sure you're subscribed as well. And if you want to, you can turn on notifications so you're notified when every new video comes out. I hope you got some meaningful information out of this. Drop any thoughts you have on what we talked about down below, from the new weapons you can get in the PU to the changes in the RMC and construction material prices to the Reclaimer editions and even these Nyx data mines. If you have any thoughts on anything, make sure to let me know down below. But that's going to do it for this one. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the verse.